Hello everyone. So today we are going to write poems about questions that have no answers. So think about maybe when you were little. I don't know if you were the kind of kid to ask why about everything, but that's a pretty common phase. And if any of you have younger siblings, you might know that they ask why about a lot of things, like why is the sky blue? Why do cats meow? What are cats saying when they meow? Why do leaves fall off the trees in the fall? Why does the water freeze in the winter? So there's a lot of questions, and sometimes they're questions that we can look up online, or sometimes they might be big questions like, why do pets have to die? Why does my grandma have to go back home after she's done visiting? So there's a lot of questions that maybe we can't look up online. Or even if we can look them up online, the answers aren't satisfying, and maybe we still have questions or we have things we wonder about. So I'm going to share with you some poems by a bunch of other kids who have asked questions so that you can get some ideas. So this is by Chris Anglin, who wrote this when he was in second grade. How long does space go? It goes forever. Where is the moon? It is in space. Does the moon have a face? I don't know. So I want you to notice in this poem, he asks a question and then he answers it. And then he asks another question and then he answers it. And then he asks another question and then he answers it. And the last answer is still just a mystery. He doesn't know if the moon has a face. So you don't necessarily have to know what the answer is to try to answer. You could just guess and think about what you think the answer might be. Here is another one. This is called Where Do the Noises Go? And so this poet, whose name is Mindy Bladen, who wrote this in 10th grade, she has, her title is the same as the first line in her poem. So that's an idea for how you might get ideas for titles. Where do the noises go? Throughout the world and back again? In the sky with all the stars? Is there a big sponge that gathers them all? Or do they go into all of the airheads? Do the birds suck up all noises and give them back again? Do they have a world of their own? Or is life just one big noise? So, unlike the first poem I read you, this one is about noises all the way through. So the first poem he asks about a few different things, and this one is all questions about the same thing. And she's guessing. She has a lot of guesses about where the noises go. But every line that she writes is a question. It has a question mark at the end. She's guessing, but she's not sure, so there's a question mark. So that is another idea. And I really like this poem because she still has really specific details in it. She imagines a big sponge, airheads, birds that suck up the noise. So there's a lot of visual details, and it can be really helpful in these poems to still try to find ways to use all your senses. So the third poem I want to share is by Heidi Hugginen. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. She's in second grade. What's inside the moon? A floating baboon. What's inside Mars? 2 valuable cars. What's inside night? A little starlight. So, like the first poem I showed you, she is asking a question and answering it, and then asking a different question and answering that one. And this one's pretty cool because she makes it rhyming. Every 2 lines, she rhymes. So if you want to experiment with rhyming, you can do that too. And then the last poem is this one by Jenny Blake, second grade, Who Am I? Maybe a piece of bologna with wobbling skin, and if you bend me, I will have wrinkles. So that's pretty funny to imagine. So she's using humor in her poem, and she's not asking a lot of questions. She just asks one, and it's in her title. And then the whole rest of her poem is her guess. So there are a lot of different ways to ask answers without questions. You can guess the answers, or you could just ask a bunch of questions. If you just ask a bunch of questions, make sure they're super detailed so we can still imagine what you're talking about, and try to use as many of your senses as you can. And I really look forward to seeing what you are all curious about and some of the answers that you think might be true that might answer these questions.